Hello, everybody. Really excited to be showing you our new functionality results. So results is the ability to show all of the feedback that you previously showed in your report on the screen, plus a few extra things that are possible when you're in a screen, which is adds to what you can offer to your respondents. Now, results for existing customers, results is included in the subscription at no extra cost. And for people who are looking at subscriptions, all of the plans include results. And yeah, the price isn't changed by it. So we have several use cases to go through, but this is the first one, and this is an individual completing a response. And so you see here the completion page. So when the respondent gets to the end of the assessment, they click finish, and they come to this page. So previously it just had text on it and a button to download their report, which it still has, but you can have this dashboard in there as well. Okay, so the important thing about the dashboard is that it's built using the same merge strings that you use to build the report. So all of that knowledge that you built up on what merge strings to use where come into play again. But the layout and all of that is all decided by you in the building of the results dashboard. One of the advantages of being on the screen is that you can have drill down. So rather than having a big long document, you can have it that they click on the areas that they're interested in, and then they can get rating text based on how they scored in that area. So he scored reasonably, moderately well in here in developing people. So he got the moderate text. But also, just like in the report, you can have links to resources, but where it does differ is you can have a video. So that video is in the rating text, so only comes up for the people that you want it to come up for. So this brings a whole lot of new possibilities to presenting feedback, because, you know, sort of for this sort of scenario, you can have training videos only for the people that need them. So maybe a, you know, sort of almost a how to improve yourself course based on their assessment results. But also in marketing assessments, you can have, you know, sort of product demos or case studies based on the areas that you've ascertained in the assessment that they need help with. So a lot of opportunity around videos. And I've got them in the drill down, but they can be anywhere. This could be a video just as easily. It can be in the rating text, so based on how they scored, or it can be a static video, well, a video that's always there in the tile, we call these as well. So the individual report, as I said, or the individual screen, as I said, is available as soon as they complete the response, but you can also email it to them. So the completion email can include the report, can include the dashboard, or it can include the dashboard only, or of course, as always, the report only. But if you include the dashboard, they just click on the link to that and it displays like this. Now, it can be a different dashboard than the one you show on the screen, so you can have variations for that. Okay, so that's scenario one. Now we've added to the responses the ability to go straight to that page. So as an administrator or as a partner, you can just get in and see how they scored and how they saw their results from the outset. Okay. So scenario 2 is around cohorts. So for people who don't use cohorts or new people to the system, cohorts are a group of respondents invited together, usually because you want to report them together. And they may be a 360, or they may be a team or a department that you invite together. So we'll have a look here at a cohort. So we'll just come into this one. And we've added the capability of showing a dashboard when you first go into a cohort. So to see how they've scored, you may just have the number of completions in there. So a chart like this, or a stack bar with the status of the responses, or you may have more information. Now, again, we've got a drill down on here, so we'll just click on that. And in this context, it's more suitable to have more information about how they answered the questions. So we've got the stack bar showing the distribution of answers, and we've shown the average score there. So again, just merge strings. You decide what you want to show and what scenario, and it's got a nice presentation of that. Now, the other thing you can do here is, and you can do on all dashboards, but we have it here, is the ability to have what we call a more details link. So you can configure as many of these as you like, and it just, when they click on the more details link, it expands out extra information that you've decided is applicable for these particular cohorts. So we see here in this example, they've got all the respondents, and it's divided up by the behaviours, which are subsections in this case in the brilliant assessments. But this as a cohort split, just like it would be in a report. And so the split can be by respondent, it can be by role. So if you were doing a 360, you'd almost definitely show it by role. Or it could be by classifier, which can be any classifier that you define. So very versatile in the information you can show, but exactly the same as what you can do in the reporting. Okay, so in the case of the cohort dashboards, you can see in this dashboard or another dashboard similar to it that you've designed, you can send it with the cohort report in the cohort results email. So that's produced under a criteria of past completion date and a minimum number of responses completed. A little more complicated than that, as users will know where there's combinations in some cases that you want to do, but you can send the email with the dashboard and the report, or without the report. Now, one of the advantages of that is that you can, if the cohort contact clicks on the link a week later, it will be up to date, so it's dynamic. So even though there was a minimum number of responses when you first sent it, people may still be responding to it and they get the up-to-date information. Now, the other use case for dashboards with cohorts is the progress report email. So you can tell them how many people responded. So this is sent before completion date, and you might send a bar chart, like a stack bar like this, or any other bar chart that you can use with the response status. And you potentially could also have merge strings to pull in the people who have completed the responses in the cohort and the people who haven't. So that gives you that information. But it's really dependent on what's appropriate in your scenario. Okay, so that's cohorts. Now I'm just going to sign out to show you the third scenario. And the third scenario is for an organization. And we'll just go into the sign in as a partner to see that. And so you see this can be branded in the partner's branding. And so one of the options for them now as a landing page is to come into their results dashboard. And so you see some similar ideas to what we've done in the cohorts, but just some different merge strings. We've got this histogram here showing the distribution of results. We've got here a heat map showing the behaviors, and it's split by a classifier, which is the role. So you can see that's inverted from the one we showed you before. So all of those things, you're designing a dashboard, for your audience. In this case, again, we've shown this as a drill down. Oh, I didn't show you the text underneath there. So there's text in this example as well, based on how the group scored. So and so you can see we've got the distribution of answers and the average score there as well. Now this text is quite important. All of these examples are based on the same assessment, but you can see there's a different text here than we saw on the individual one. So you can have different versions of the text in here. Okay. Now, one of the advantages of being on the screen again is that you can have filters. So the filters are defined as part of building the results dashboard, and you can pick from the standard filters that we have in the system, and you can see some of those here: the response names, the cohort subject, the business, the date range, obviously the assessment. But you can, so you've selected out of those. We have others available like the group, the customer type, things like that, which we've decided aren't applicable to this data, so we haven't shown them. But you can also have classifiers, and so this particular assessment has 5 classifiers. You can have as many as you like, and they're defined specifically for your assessment. So we can see using the classifier the data that's applicable to this particular cohort or this particular organization, sorry. And so if we go and we click on Austin, for example, and then we save, then they can see the results for Austin. And so there's a smaller group. They can see that, they can see, and you could have several heat maps showing the scores. You could break it down still at the role level, but you could have it broken down by person, potentially, whatever you think's appropriate. So a lot of extra functionality coming in with results. Okay, so I'm just going to log out of there. Now, there is actually a fourth scenario, which won't be very common, so I haven't bothered dwelling on it. but the fourth scenario is actually having a dashboard within the response. And the use case for that is where you have a cohort and an assessor. So the cohort answers the questions, and then an assessor goes through and wants to see the results of how the cohort answered before they put in their scoring or their comments. So you can use dashboards in that scenario as well. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how these are built, and we'll build a simple dashboard, a simple results dashboard. And the first thing we do is give it a name. And the name is internal only. The title is on the top of the dashboard. So description, you sort of think we're having too many things here. But once you build up a few dashboards, you start to realize that, in fact, having a description on it's a very handy thing. And then the type, we have 4 types. The bottom 3 work, well, they all work very similarly, but the bottom 3 are all based on an assessment. But there's some defaults that occur which make it easier to build them if you select the right one. So they're at the 3 levels: the individual, the cohort, and the organization-wide. But the summary one is where you have more than one assessment coming through to the dashboard. So when you're building the merge strings, you specify the assessment as well as the normal details. So that's what that does. But we'll build an individual, and we'll build it for the leadership assessment. And so save that. Okay, so now we're starting to build it, and we start by adding what's called a container. So to see what a container really is, the easiest way is to look at the settings. Here's a name. Now, the first thing it does is it can be always showing or on demand. So the container holds a bunch of tiles, and you can have it always showing. But where you saw us do drill down, you saw us do more details, they're on-demand type containers that hold the tiles that you're going to show in that scenario. So this is going to be always showing. Now, you can set a color to the dashboard. So we have a color D5, and that's one of our brand colors, but of course you'd use the brand color associated, to give the results for the look and feel that you want. So that's there. You can have an image instead. Now I'm going to put some spacing between the tiles because we're going to have 2 levels of them, so we'll put that in. The minimum height, used in a very specific scenario, not used very often, so we'll just leave that to the documentation to cover. And now we have a container. So the next step is we start adding tiles. And so we have 12 different sizes from full width down to 1/12. And it's a drag and drop interface, so you can drag them across. And so we'll drag that across, and notice that it turns yellow. Then it knows where we're dropping it. So you can drop that there, and we'll take a 2/3 and we'll put that there as well. Okay, I'll just click out of there for that to disappear. Now I'm going to go into the settings for the tile as well. And the first thing I'm going to do is, by default, they are transparent. So I just want to make them white. So there's the background there. Now the border color is actually a brown by default, but you can set it to any color. It's hard to spot that it's brown when it's only 2 pixels wide. But yeah, if you change it to a bright red or something, that certainly shows perfectly. Or you can make the border color wider if you wanted to. But you can select the color or you can enter the code like all of these boxes. The border thickness is 2 pixels, as I said, but you can change that. You can change it to 0, and then there are no borders, which can give quite a different effect where you're looking more at a page rather than a dashboard look. But you can so the design aspects that you can bring in. Padding here, and again, the minimum height only used in certain scenarios. You can have rounded corners or you can have square corners. Now, you can also set the width here. You'd normally only use that once you'd built the dashboard a bit and you realise that you haven't allowed enough space for one of the tiles, and you can take some space from one of the others, and so you can adjust them here too. Okay, so we've got that. It's the white background. I'll just go into the settings here. It's defaulted that, and so I'll save that as well. And we've got that. Okay, so now we want to put something on, and this is where the rubber meets the road. And so we come in here and we're going to put a donut chart. And we're going to have the whole assessment score. And so all of those options are just what we want. I just clicked out of there, so that's just unhighlighted. We'll just highlight it. But I want to get rid of the title on here. So I'm going to just make that selection and no title. And so we'll save that. And there we go. So you see, this is so much easier to build when you're in the screen-based option. And I should mention that you can copy the merge strings to and from the reports to make it quicker. Okay, so you can also, we're also going to have here your overall score. So we're building something similar to what we saw earlier, but just seeing how easy it is. So your overall score, and then we want the percentage score. So that's there. And so we're just going to, oops, no. We're just going to make that all, we're going to put a heading on it. Now you can use the headings or just to make it bigger, but you can use the sizes as well. So all of that functionality is there. I tend to use the headings, keep it consistent. And then underneath the overall score, we're just going to put the rating text for the whole assessment. So there we go. And we'll put that as heading 4. So that's a bit larger as well, and save. Right, so you're really starting to get an impression of how easy to use this is now, especially if you have knowledge of the merge strings that you want to use. Okay, so we're going to add another tile now, and we'll make it full width. We're going to keep this simple. We're not going to make it too sophisticated. The idea is just to give you a demonstration. And we'll go in and we'll change that to having a white background again. So that's there. And now we'll go in and we'll build a merge string. So we're going to make a little variation on what we saw, and we're just going to show a vertical bar chart now. But we'll do it for subsections. And we'll do all sections. And we'll do all subsections. I'm going to add labels on it. So once again, I put that, so that just shows the score as a number, and save. How easy is this? Isn't this great? Okay, so you can tell I'm impressed. So you've got the start of a great dashboard here already. Now we want to show a drill down as well to show how that's done. And as I mentioned, the drill downs are in a separate container. So we add a container first, and you can see it's just added it on the bottom there. Now notice these can be dragged and dropped, so you can change them around and same with the tiles. So I'll go into their settings for the container. Now, I didn't bother renaming the first one, but they have a name. We'll call this subsection ratings. And so, and we're going to make it on demand. You don't have to, it can still be called container 2. It doesn't have any real difference. And we'll do the same thing with the color here. And apply. Now, this is one of the opportunities for a bit of design flair, is actually having separate, I won't bother with the height, separate colors for the different containers. And so you might have panels as you move down the page with some shading in the background to differentiate them out. Okay, so now we're going to add a tile. And I'm just going to scroll down to where I want to drop it before I start dragging it. But you can see now the yellow brightening up as to where it thinks it's going to drop it. And I'll bring it down here, and here we go. Now I'm going to go in here as always and put the color, because it's in a different container. It hasn't defaulted the color, but it's pretty easy. If and apply. You can just pick the corner, but I find it easier to just put the number in. Same deal, all of these. And now we want to put the merge string in for this. And so we're going to have subsection rating text on this. Yep. And we're going to do it for subsections. And now, because this is a drill down, we don't know which section or subsection they select. So we have a new dynamic merge parameter. And so that is at subsection number, and you can have the same for the subsection number. So you specify that in this scenario. But that is all you have to do. You can do all the normal things like use different rating types. You can select the text to be reported. All of those things are available to you as well. And we'll save that. Now, because we have a dynamic section and subsection, it doesn't know what to show at the moment. So it's come up blank. We can connect this up, but we can also come into the test data here, and we can see that as well as being able to specify the response, it's defaulted to the test response, but we could take that out. We could select another response. If we were doing a cohort, it would have defaulted to the first cohort for that assessment. And then you can also say, I want to select the test section and subsection and save that. And now when it's reloaded, it's got some example text here based on how they scored. So they've got the moderate score, they've got the moderate text. Okay, so the last piece of this is coming back in here, and you could build this last to save a step, but it's good to go through the process, I think. And to modify a merge string, you just highlight it. So in the word add-in, you click in the middle of it and it'll highlight it. But in this scenario, you highlight it. It's no harder, but just something to know. And then we want to add a couple of extra options in here. So the first option we want to add is to set drill down. And yes, we want drill down. So that one's simple. And then the second one is nearly as simple, where we want to set the container. But this time we select which container. So we've called that subsection ratings, but you could have multiple containers with multiple drill downs, or some more details type links. So you select the one you want, and then you save. And now we've got that all set up. So you see the hyperlinks on here. So if I now go and save and view, we can see it in the flesh, as it were, and we click on that leadership style, we get that text. We click on develop people, we get that, and the medium as well. So we've got the video showing there too. Okay, so that's how you build the results dashboards. Really easy to do. But this is just an example, and we're really excited to see how all of our customers build dashboards in the future. We're sure we'll see a lot of innovation as we do in the reports. And yeah, we hope you have a lot of fun with building dashboards. Now, one last point is the customer success managers are there to help you. So don't hesitate to reach out to them if you're having any problems with getting the information that you want on it. Excellent. Okay, thank you. And I'll hopefully be talking to you again soon.